I'm Kathleen Sams with Red Heart Yarns, and I want to show you how to make a basic right or left cable. You can do them on different number of stitches. They are worked on a background of reverse stockinette, as you can see right here, and the cable itself is worked in stockinette stitch. And in this case, I've put two cables together so you can see the right twist and the left twist. And I've put a couple of stitches between it. Now the other thing you need to understand too is that as you're doing your cables, you could have a 4-stitch, a 6-stitch, 8, 10-stitch cable. I don't like going over 10 stitches for a cable because it makes it very difficult to try to maneuver them and twist them and keep them laying flat. So your abbreviation on your patterns are usually listed as a C4F, which would mean cable 4 stitches to the front, or a C4B, which would be cable 4 stitches to the back. Now, your right cable would go to the back, so that means as I'm using my cable hook, I would drop my stitches to the back and it would twist to the right. And if I want it to twist to the left, I would drop my stitches on the cable needle to the front. Now, the other thing too is the number of rows that you have between your cables. Here I have, this is a 4-stitch cable. So we're working it on 4 stitches, and I've used 4 rows. So you can see here that we have a little tighter cable. And then as I moved up, I've got the same stitches here, and what I have done on this one, I've increased and put 6 stitches, so I've added 1 extra. So we've got a 6-stitch cable here, and I've added extra rows. So you work the rows based on the number of stitches. So a 4-stitch cable could be 4 or 6 rows between your twists, depending on how tight you want them or loose. This is a 6-stitch cable that I did 6 rows on. You can also do 8 rows. The same thing now up here, I've switched this over to an 8-stitch cable, and I've just kind of moved it back and forth so you can see where it's going right and left. And that is done over, like I say, 8 stitches. And I used 10 rows. So when you're doing this, a 4-stitch cable could be 4 rows or 6 rows between your twists. 6-stitch cable could be 6 or 8 rows, and so on. So an 8-stitch cable would be 8 or 10 rows, 10-stitch 10 or 12 rows. So these are the tools that you can use for your cable. There's like a fish hook like shape, and then there's also a needle that has a little bump in it. I like using the fish hook. You can see that they're made as knitting needles. They have the point on the end, and you'll see how that works. Now I've got a couple of pieces here I want to show you. I've already done my beginning 3 pearls, which would be the reverse stockinette. Okay, now this is a 6-stitch cable, and this one here is twisting to the right. So that means that I'm going to drop the stitches on the cable hook to the back. So we're going to pick the hook up. See, this is why it's great to have it like this. Slide those first 3 stitches off. All right, and then I just, like this, flip it to the back. Make sure you hold on to your needle. It does slide out easily. Make sure your yarn is right here and not wrapped around your cable needle. You're going to knit the next 3. All right, slide this up a little bit. Then I'm going to pick this up, and you see this becomes my knitting needle. Then I'm going to pick up these 3 stitches that I have pushed to the back on that cable, knit those 3, 1, 2, 3, lay your hook down, bring your yarn back to the front, and then we're going to purl those last 3. Now lay it down here, and you can see where this one has twisted to the right. All right, now the next one, same thing, and we're going to, we've already done our first 3 stitches. Going to come in here, pick up the first 3, 1, 2, 3. This time I'm leaving them hang at the front. Going to come back in here, knit those next 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, slide your needle down so it doesn't slide out. Okay, pick this up, knit these 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, lay that down. We're going to bring our yarn to the front, and then we're going to finish these last 3 stitches that we have on this little panel in purl. And you can see here where this one twists to the left. So we have our right and our left twist knit cable.